And this topic is brought to us by Gametime. The World Cup is coming back to North America for the first time since 1994, and with 48 teams for the first time ever. It's going to be massive, but let's be honest, getting tickets is usually the hardest part. That's why the Gametime app is clutch, finally giving fans a real advantage when it comes to snagging seats. With Gametime, you can track price drops in real time, get alerts when great seats open, and buy tickets the moment they hit the app. It puts the power back in your hands and makes going to the World Cup realistic instead of impossible. Take the guesswork out of buying your World Cup tickets and every match, concert, or event with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, download the app, make an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, and go. Download Gametime today. Let's talk the quarterback position. Shedeur Sanders threw a touchdown, did not turn the football over against the 49ers. Bull, what'd you make of Shedeur's performance in his first career home start against the San Francisco defense that blitzed just once in the entire game?
You know, when we don't have a lot of days like this in Cleveland, but there are like 15 times a year where you don't need the air conditioning, you don't need the heat, you can wear shorts. You're not going to be maybe perfectly comfortable, but you can wear shorts. And my son refers to that as a nothing day. And that's what I saw from Shedeur Sanders. It was a nothing day. Like, he didn't do anything that stood out. Like, oh, there was no plays that I was wowed by. He didn't do anything horrible. Like, there was nothing. Everything was, you know, either okay or could have been better. There was nothing egregiously bad and nothing egregiously good. I give it a C minus. Wasn't a lot of pass attempts. Even the numbers were not impressive, obviously, because you know a good chunk of the passing yards, which weren't high, were done in that garbage time drive at the end. You know, he can't take a sack on fourth down, which he did when the game was still in hand. There was one time.
People got mad at me for saying that.
Why? You can't take a sack on. Now, he didn't have that was the only play that he didn't have a ton of time, pretty much. But you can't. We've said that. You say that every time.
And it came right up the middle.
It
was right at him.
He saw it coming. He didn't have a lot of time, but you got to throw it. It's fourth down, so you can't take a sack on fourth down. But outside of that, again, there was nothing. He missed some opportunities, couple, but nothing egregiously bad. No egregiously bad decisions. But nothing, you know, it was a nice throw to Harold Fannin. I thought that was a good play. But there was not one play that he made where I was like, wow, great play. And there was not one play he made where I was like, oh, my God, that was terrible. It was kind of a nothing game. You know, didn't really change anything for me when it comes to Shedeur Sanders.
G?
Guys?
I look at the game. My thesis statement is the reason they lost the football game because of Shedeur Sanders' play? No. Did he have a stellar game? No.
And you got to score more than 8 points. I mean, that is the bottom line.
So we'll point out the things I liked. I liked the throw to Harold Fannin Jr. for a touchdown. I thought that, you know, I liked the way, you know, they set him up for some screenplays. I thought the game plan got a little conservative and stale in the second half. I wanted to see more bootlegs. I liked the screen game. I would have liked to see some more misdirection things and to get them out of the move and to find some of those guys. If you ask me, I could, you know, you take a look at what he did, 64% completion. Was this a game where it was like anything particularly wowed you? No. That happens when you got weather games. That happens when you get a ball away to teams inside their own territory. They're going to score these points. But is this a game where, you know, anybody be jumping up and down talking about, oh, this is the proof? No. But I do think he was competent. He did what he was asked to do. There wasn't any egregious mistakes. If you had to, you know, look at it and I had to squint and I say, all right, what would you grade it? You know, I could go C+, B- and be like, okay, you know, it is what it is. But in terms of the play on the field, I don't think it warrants anything moving back to Dillon Gabriel. I think that's a ridiculous conversation. And I don't think anybody would say that the reason the Browns lost the football game was because of Shedeur Sanders. I think he did some nice things, but it wasn't overly impressive. And I don't think anybody would say it was super overly impressive, including himself, who he said, hey, I got to play better and I got to get things done better.
Jason.
You know why you thought it was a nothing game? They aren't letting him play quarterback. They don't trust him to play quarterback. And until he plays quarterback, it's hard to say what he is or what he isn't. And I'm glad we have Brian Hoyer on today, because Brian's the perfect one to talk about this. Yeah. When all you're doing is screens and quick game, and it's this and it's I've been saying it for 2 weeks. When it's this and this and this, and then the fan plays a busted coverage.
Right.
He rolls out.
What's the difference between this and Dylan Gabriel? I mean, everything was the same thing with Dylan Gabriel.
But with Dylan, they were trusting him to make some of the checks and some of the calls. And
are you sure that's not happening?
Yeah.
Okay.
But with here's the problem that we keep having. The bar is not Dylan Gabriel. That's not the bar.
Right.
The bar is competent NFL quarterback play, and can you lead a franchise deep into the playoffs and possibly to a Super Bowl? Yeah. Obviously, this is step one, and that's step 100. Yeah. But we have to keep saying Dylan. Dylan has never been the bar here. Nobody has ever said Dylan Gabriel is going to be a franchise quarterback for the Browns. Yeah. So that's not the bar. It doesn't matter what Dylan can or can't do, because no one has ever said Dylan is the guy.
I actually agree with that. I actually agree. Like, the thing that I want is, like, the Dylan Gabriel conversation, that is sailed. Like, at some point, you got to, like, I want them to roll out, get out of bed and say, listen, here's the playbook, let's go cook. Like, because obviously, if you got training wheels on it, it ain't going to do you no justice. It's not going to do the coaching staff no justice or the team, because you want to see what a dude can do. If you're getting in the second half of the football game and you're not moving the ball and you just running on first down, running on second down, it's 3rd and 12. Like, that's not it. I want to see him be in the game, in the mix, putting the ball and putting it on his shoulders to see what he can actually do.
Now, yesterday probably wasn't the day for that because of the weather and the high winds and everything. Like, I think you texted before the game. So they're going to run the crap out of the ball. Like, Shedeur, this is going to be a nothing game for Shedeur.
And they ran it well.
And they ran the crap out of the ball because of the weather and because of everything else. But there has to come a point, and Tennessee certainly looks like a good opportunity with Tennessee coming to town. Now, again, we have to see what the weather is, to sort of give him more responsibilities. And, like, when I kept saying all year, like, he's not ready. You're seeing it play out with the way that they're calling the game and how much they trust him. It's not very much. But if he's going to be the quarterback going forward of this team for the rest of this season, all of next year, at some point, you have to give him the opportunity to make checks at the line, to identify the middle linebacker, to call out coverages, to stand in the pocket, and to deliver from the pocket in a regular offense, make tight window throws, throw guys open, all these things that good quality NFL quarterbacks can do. You have to give him the opportunity to see if he can do it or not. And the fact that they are not giving him that opportunity tells you what they think of where he's at right now. Well, it's not that they're sabotaging him. They're trying to protect him because they don't think he's ready for that. But are they right or wrong? I don't know.
I mean, but at this point in time, it ain't no time for no protecting. It's about to go out there and play it. I've always said this. The problem with this is here's where you at a disadvantage, and this is why I hate this. The Cleveland Browns hire offensive coordinators, right? But they're not offensive coordinators, because in reality, they're limiting those guys too. If you're the offensive coordinator, what do you have the ability to do? I got the ability to draw the concepts up. I get the ability to come in here and understand where I want to see that person go, where this person go. The entire tailoring of the offense, it goes through me. When you give the playbook away in the middle of the year, what it does, it hamstrings the play caller, because, yes, he can call the plays, but those aren't his concepts. Those aren't what that isn't what his vision is for the offense. And you have to have a vision. You have to have a succinct vision from top to bottom. I'm the play caller. The quarterback understands the vision. The receivers and everybody in the offensive line understands the vision. When you hand it off, you're trying to figure out how disjointed this thing, where are we going to get it? It ain't time to get on the same page. You know when the time to get on the same page is? In off season, in OTAs. You know when the time to get reps is? It's then. When you fumble the bag then, you don't got no time to be sitting in the middle of the season trying to figure out what Tommy Reese wants to run or what quarterback can get on the same page as a wide receiver. No, that's not what it is. So what the Cleveland Browns have to understand is, when you build the offense the way you built it, and it's built on a house of cards, not no brick foundation, you're going to have stuff in the middle of the season where it looks nasty and guys arguing and moving around. It's supposed to be something where it comes from the top and understand what it is. If moving forward, I don't want no coach I want an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator. That's what I want. So you could concentrate fully on what you are doing. Because right now, Tommy Reese is just calling plays that who I don't even know if he believes in those.
But also, you talk about a brick foundation. Who's the foundation? What on this offense is a foundation outside of Quinshon Judkins?
That's another part.
And that's what I've been saying all year. It's impossible to get a fair read on who Dylan and Shedeur are when you look at what they have to work with. We talked all year about how awful the tackles are. Now they're trying to tell us that Wyatt isn't pulling his weight, which he's a multiple-time All-Pro. I'm surprised. Like, whatever, fine. Offensive line's been in shambles all year. We've talked. These receivers are horrendous. They're slow. They don't create separation. They don't make catches in traffic. So I'm sitting here telling you, I want to see if he can stand in the pocket and pick apart a defense and make tight window throws, while all the data says they don't have receivers who can create separation and make tight window catches. So what are we doing here? It's impossible to get a read on these guys.
Yeah.
Cedric
I
Tillman,
thought the offensive line actually played pretty well.
when Conklin was in,
But they also weren't being blitzed very often.
So
No, that's true.
In terms of that, I found this stat from Next Gen Stats. If you want to take it full. Yesterday, Shedeur Sanders had a 3.37 second time to throw for San Francisco. That's the longest time to throw by a Browns quarterback over the last 3 seasons. 3.37 seconds. San Francisco blitzed one time. They would generate a 36.7 pressure rate. But it goes to both points. Offensive line did a decent job of protecting. The receivers weren't getting open if Shedeur didn't trust what he was seeing, didn't see the wide open guy, and also he probably holds onto the ball a little too long. It's probably a combination of all three that gets
And here's
that
the
number.
thing. The Niners told you by the way they played that they were not
They
concerned
don't
about
fear
Shedeur
the
Sanders.
Browns. No, they don't fear anything
And the
on
Browns
that
in
offense.
general. But just like they did with Dylan Gabriel, same thing. Nobody was worried. Here's the thing. Yes, there were times he held the ball too long. The Niners don't have a good pass rush, period. They're one of the worst pass rushing
They've
teams
had a ton
in
of
the
injuries
league.
defensively, too.
Right, but that's okay. But that's part of the reason.
Yeah.
But anyway, and the most telling moment was when the Browns committed a penalty on third down at like the Niners 30-yard line. I don't remember exactly where they were.
and they accepted the
And they
penalty.
accepted the penalty.
Yeah.
If you had a quarterback that you knew was really good,
You never give
you
him
would
an extra
never
You force
accept
them
that
off
penalty.
the field. You get them off the field.
Yes, you would never accept that penalty, and that told you they don't fear
Correct.
the quarterback
Correct.
and the offense in general.
Yes.
If you look at it, one of the things that I was talking about when I was doing a film breakdown is this. So there's an idea and thought process that you would blitz a young quarterback all the time. You would blitz him, you would blitz him, you would blitz him, right? But that's not necessarily the truthful part about it. Because if you're a defense that is a little bit limited and you don't really have any crazy playmakers up front or in the back end, actually what you want to do is you want to be in coverage. Because what you want to do is you want to make him diagnose and beat your coverage and matriculate the ball upfield. If you have a bad team and you have penalties and they get you off schedule, if they're not ahead of the chains, if it's 3rd and 10 and you don't have anybody that's threatening the field deep vertically, you sit back and you make them complete pass after pass after pass after pass to move the sticks. And what happens is even quarterbacks like Shedeur Sanders, when you blitz him and you give him an opportunity to go deep one-on-one, he may hit a ball to Isaiah Bond. They may grab a guy and get a first down or a penalty. So in general, you're like, well, no, we're not even going to give you that opportunity. Hey, you just worked, especially when the weather is bad, work your way up the field, dog. And by the way, you have nobody that's going to threaten this deep. So you got to, and then you got problems with guys catching the balls underneath. So I saw Cedric Tillman come out of a route, and me and McNuggets and Earl laughed. I said, Cedric Tillman looked like he had lead Timberlands on. Like this guy was plotting out of I said, what? There's deficiencies to it. If I was a defensive coordinator, I wouldn't blitz Shedeur Sanders like that. I would simulate pressure, and then I would say, all right, you diagnose what we're going to do.
Yeah, that's kind of what they did, and that was smart. And
I think it depends on the personnel. It depends on what you have, where your strengths and weaknesses are as a defense. The fan in play was a fine throw. It was a great, but that's a standard NFL. Any quarterback in the NFL ought to be able to make that play. That was a standard.
Yes.
He was wide open on a coverage bust. So there was nothing great about that. It was a fine. Like, I'm not taking anything away from him.
It's a play that
you can't
start in the league if you can't make that
Absolutely.
play.
You got to hit it.
That is a standard play.
Yeah.
Now, can you stand in the pocket and can you throw a guy open? Can you throw it into a tight window coverage? Can you make some of the throws? Flacco had a throw against Cincinnati into the end zone, and I thought, oh my God, that is a 15-year veteran type of throw that no rookie is going to make.
Yeah.
So there's degrees to this or layers to this, but at some point, you have to give him, if you have any hope at all of him being the guy, even just next year, like we have so many shows to do and so much to talk about future quarterbacks and where they're drafted and are they taking a quarterback and da-da-da-da-da-da. And if you want to try and build it out around the quarterback and draft a lineman and draft a receiver and then try and give him a year and drop a quarterback in later, you at least have to see between now and the end of the season, can he stand in the pocket and diagnose the defense, and can he make throws that a competent NFL quarterback can make? And we don't know the answer to that.
The Titans are the worst team in football.
Yeah.
You're at home. I don't even care what the weather is. You got to do it next year.
I mean, for people who hated Dylan, who crushed Dylan, and we're part of it, who crushed Dylan and said he's not it.
Yeah.
I texted you guys last night. The EPA per dropback, right? That's a standard advanced stat. It's a true metric of quarterback play. Dylan in 6 starts had an EPA per dropback of negative .19, means the Browns lost
terrible.
They lost 0.2 of a point every time he dropped back.
Yeah.
You know what? I took out the Baltimore game. Throw away the Baltimore game.
Yeah.
You know Shedeur's EPA per dropback in his 2 starts? The exact same.
Yeah.
0.19. Yeah. Minus 0.19. The Browns are losing 0.2 of a point every time Shedeur drops back. It hasn't been good enough. But you have to give him the opportunity to actually play quarterback in the NFL to see if he can be a quarterback in the NFL.
You have to do that this week. You got to take
whether he's ready or not, whether you think he's ready or not. We're past that point.
Irrelevant.
Now. If he's the starting quarterback, then make him the starting quarterback.
You know, there's a runway of situations like, my thing is we talked about it all the time. Dylan played in 6 games or how many games it was. Shedeur started 2 games. At the end of the day, it's time to get it going. Like, you have to give the dude the opportunity. Just invest. Like, my thing is, you be talking about next year and all this other stuff, bro. You can invest in real time this week. Like you don't have to, you can invest and say, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put it on your plate. Show and prove, and let's cook.
Yeah.
And instead of we got the training wheels on and we trying to figure it out. And no, bro, just go. It's 6 games. How many more games of the season it is?
5.
It's 5 football games. Prepare to do. Let's get them together. And let me tell you this too. Give Tommy Reese the runway. Say, listen, you designed me something that you wouldn't run for 5 games. And guess what? It ain't like there's a limit on the time they got to be there. I don't care if y'all got to stay the whole doggone time and get it together. Yeah. Design what you feel comfortable with. I want to see for 5 games, you put your stuff on tape. You get the quarterback, put his stuff on tape, and let's figure this thing out.
Yeah. Next week it has to happen. We've played the Jets, who are terrible. We've played the Raiders, who are terrible. The Titans are probably worse than all of them.
Yeah.
The Titans are
probably the worst team in football.
I mean, who's their best skill position player? Can anybody name one?
It's their tight end, and I only know that because we made his stats this morning.
Awokum?
Chig. C-H-I-G is his first name. Chig.
Chig Awugum. Awugabugum.
They are the worst team in football.
They stink. They're absolutely horrid.
Yes.
They can't score. I think they're last in offense.
They are dead last. I made the comparison graphic,
and
the Browns are like 29th or 30th and everything. The Titans are 31st or 32nd.
Yeah, I mean, the Browns could pitch a shutout in this game. This game could be 0-0, though. I don't know. I mean, let's go. The offense has got to do something in this game.
I do have one more.
I expect Shedeur to play better. I want to see him play a good NFL game this week.
Yeah.
Take the training wheels off. Let's go.
Got one question for you guys.
Yeah.
On something Shedeur did, and then we're going to talk about the Jerry Jeudy Shedeur altercation on the sideline.
Yeah.
But on that 4th and 26 play at the end of the game.
Ridiculous. Totally ridiculous.
Scrambled for a few yards and slid.
Yeah.
I said on the stream, I was like, he's got to throw the ball or run. He can't slide. And then
it doesn't really matter. The game's over.
And we put the caveat that it's really irrelevant at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious, in hindsight now with 24 hours to think on it, do you still think I'm wrong in my sentiment that he just got to chuck the ball up or go make the play?
I just I'm of the mindset throw the ball up. If I was grading it in a what's the name? If I was in a room and I was sitting there and Shedeur was back there and we watched the film, I'm like, listen, and just give you guys a chance.
Yeah, just throw the ball up.
Give you guys a chance.
It really didn't matter.
But in the scheme of things, I ain't going crazy. No. I'm going to be like, listen, just give you guys an opportunity.
Can I do an experiment?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's do it through the Dylan lens.
Yeah.
Okay? So the wounded duck that he threw into the wind, the pet scrambled through it and it was fluttering.
Yeah, terrible.
If Dylan threw that ball, what would you say?
If it was 57 miles an hour winds,
everybody would be making fun of him.
Yes.
Everybody would be making fun of Dylan for that throw.
But here's what I'm saying.
We weren't talking about that.
No, but I'm just saying. But I'm getting to, if Dylan on 4th and 26 scrambles for 5 yards and falls down, we would be destroying him.
Here's what we'll say. Yeah. So Dylan Gabriel, when that happened against the Jets, right?
I don't remember.
No, he actually took the game was in tow, and he took a sack, right? And you're like, okay, you got to throw it, you got to get rid of the ball right there. I didn't kill Dylan Gabriel. I didn't kill him like, oh, listen, oh my gosh, you got to take. He had pressure in his face. He took the sack. Do I want you to throw the ball? Sure, I want you to throw the football. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. In this case, should Shedeur Sanders throw the football up and give a guy a chance? Oh, sure, he should do that. But you got to also understand, in my opinion, I'm like, the game is over. Would I coach him towards that? Yes, I would.
I mean, you have to throw the ball there. You have to throw the ball when you get hit on the 4th down. It doesn't make any sense to run there. Obviously, once he ran, it was smart to slide. You don't want to take a hit in that situation.
I want to be, because I said earlier, Dylan's not the bar. He's not. Yeah. Dylan is not the bar that we're measuring. I'm just saying, when Dylan did things, we would make fun of him and destroy him and crush him. And when Shedeur's at it, it's like, oh, well, you know.
Well,
that's fair.
Here's what I will say.
I think that's fair.
Here's what I will say, though. I will say this. But we got to keep it real in both instances, right? I said this in the game. The problem where the juxtaposition comes from, there are literal people that said, if Shedeur does not play well against the Raiders, he may never play again for the Browns, and he may never get another opportunity to play. The problem is this. When the season started and we said we're going to give Dylan Gabriel his 6 games in allotment, I said, I want to see the progression. I want to see what he's doing from 6 games. We got to the first half again. We got to the second half against Baltimore, and there was already people writing Shedeur off because of the Baltimore second half. I said, well, hold on. We just sat here and watched Dylan Gabriel for 5-6 weeks have an opportunity.
And people were writing him off right away,
and so my thing is, I'm just trying to keep it consistent. If Dylan Gabriel has had some things that he did in his 6 games, then Shedeur Sanders should have the same opportunity and runway to go out there and put some things on tape and to see progression.
But I know I was crapping on Dylan Gabriel pretty much right away. I didn't think he was any good. I haven't been as harsh on Shedeur Sanders yet because I think he has potential. But if he doesn't play any better than he's played so far, you move on. That's it. That's
my thought process is I've always said this and been consistent.
Yeah.
Do I think Dylan Gabriel is a franchise quarterback? Do I think they took him too high? Yes, I do. But at the same time, you said you liked him. Put him out there and see what he can do.
Yeah.
Because he has an opportunity to change all our minds. Yeah. So here's your 6 games or whatever the games you going to give him, and we're going to judge him based on them 6 games. So even if I don't think that he's a franchise quarterback, I'm still going to say, you know what? You believe in him? Show me. Now, if you saying it was time to move on, give Shedeur Sanders the same runway, same opportunity. Now, after 2 games, put him out there and let's see his progression and show me if he's the guy. Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. That fluttering pass was ugly.
I mean,
and the wind certainly is a factor.
Definitely.
My only point is if Dylan did that, he would be getting destroyed today.
You're right.
Some people would destroy him.